Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this is Ripple Swell is coming up. What are we? We're at October 26th, November 8th through the 9th in Dubai, and I hope that Ripple did not put any copyright stuff over this because this is Naveen Gupta, probably my favorite Ripple guy.
The Middle East is one of the most important regions in the world for crypto. From payments to tokenization, there is a genuine adoption, and importantly here in the UAE, a clear regulatory framework. That is why in Dubai is the perfect place to hold our annual Swell Global Conference. I hope to see you there.
All right, now if there's copyrighted stuff there, that was a Ripple Swell commercial. Well, as you know, or you may not know, Link2 just added Ripple shares back to the more shares to the platform. My understanding is that they keep running out of Ripple private equity on the Link2 platform, who is one of my sponsors, by the way, and I am a Ripple private equity holder myself. Go check it out. Links in the top of the description. Now look, folks, here's what's interesting, folks. Usually when there's a market surge in crypto, it pulls back pretty significantly and all of that. It hasn't pulled back that significantly. In fact, most of these prices are holding pretty strong, and the new money that came into the market is staying. XRP is sitting there on that 55 cents, almost like it wants to blast off. Look at what Dark Defender and eGrag Crypto are saying. These guys, they can see it. Hey all, and thank you Dark Defender, by the way, for keeping your hashtag free DAI. Don't forget, my friends. Hi all, XRP's current price range is between 66 and 52. It won't be a surprise to see 66 cents shortly. Supports are 52 and 46. Resistance 66, 188, 585. But the real surprise will be when things go parabolic. Thank you for a thumbnail. The real surprise. That sounds like thumbnail worthy. Dark Defender. Then eGrag Crypto. I love this tweet. It's got some great numbers in it. Look at this. XRP mega bounce is inevitable. $27. In the previous bull run, Bitcoin skyrocketed by 23 times. Remember, that's proof of work that does not work, okay? That does not have any real utility. By 23 times. Ethereum, which does not work and appears to be one big money laundering scheme, went up a whopping 58 times. This is all on speculation, not real utility. Fake NFT utility, maybe. NFTs with gas prices that are equal or more than the actual price of the NFT you're buying went up 58 times. However, the XRP journey hit a roadblock when the government tried to stop it, when all the bad guys tried to stop it, regulatory capture. The XRP journey hit a roadblock, and when it was slapped with a lawsuit, putting a pause on the bull run. However, when XRP finally embarks on the next journey, it will release its stored energy. You know, that's funny because that's what, who was it? Was it Anthony Pompliano that said Bitcoin was, that money was stored energy or something stupid? It was really something stupid. I think that he's making fun of that here. I'm not sure. But the irony in that statement is that there is no digital asset on the planet that has more pent up, you can call it stored energy, pent up demand than XRP. There's not. This thing has been held back in every way known to man and probably ways we don't even know about. I would bet you money that there is a desk somewhere in this world and their job is to do nothing but hold that price back until it's time. I would bet that. I don't know that, but however, when XRP finally embarks on its next journey, it will release its stored energy, launching it into a cosmic expanse like a shooting star. A 40-time move is on the horizon. 40-time move, folks, and I will see you in, I don't know, Jackson Hole or somewhere like it. 40-time moves on the horizon, representing a staggering 4,000% gain, perfectly aligning the fib this, from the 2017 peak to 2020 bottom. We're going to find out, folks. This is a very smart and interesting point. One thing that's not being talked about enough is what I think is going to be a coming real estate collapse. And I think real estate is one of the areas of the economy that really hasn't taken its beating yet. Everything else has. But this is a very good comment. You young people out there, any of you people out there that are thinking about buying homes, take a lesson, because I know this lesson. I learned this lesson too. I know all about this from the financial crisis. The adjustable rate mortgage is making a comeback, but they can be fast-tracked to foreclosure. Buyers move toward ARMs. These are low interest-only things. They move towards ARMs when fixed rates become very high, thinking an adjustable rate mortgage is a good temporary solution until they can refinance in the future. It's that optimistic expectation that rates will decline and they can refinance that get them into trouble. If rates don't decline, adjustable mortgages helped fuel the last financial collapse of the housing market. So I'm sure these things are going to start to be on the rise, if I had to bet. Now, Anthony Pompliano has apparently been taken out of his, I think he was put in timeout in the corner. I think he was put in Bitcoin timeout in the traditional media when he held up those pizza boxes and decided he was going to sell Bitcoin pizza. Here he is. He's back. He is. I've told you 1,000 times. In crypto media, there's two types of crypto media. There is the crypto media who was just born and just like individuals who decided to get into this and they grew their presence that way. And then there's propped up crypto media, the guys that the established traditional media wanted to tell the story the way they wanted it told. This guy, folks, if I've seen anybody who's propped up crypto media, it's Anthony Pompliano. There's a reason that CNBC has him on whenever they need him to toe the line.
Bitcoin is up again this morning. Actually, it's been adding to its gains, up almost $600 earlier this week. It crossed 35,000 for the first time since 2022. It's doubled for the year. Optimism is surrounding the possible eventual approval of Bitcoin ETFs. That has something to do with the surge. Obviously, joining us now, Anthony Pompliano, founder of Pomp Investments, to try to sort out anything related here. There was, I guess, some ETF news, although you would argue it was to be expected. So BlackRock yesterday or the day before got a CUSIP number that we knew they would have to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, to understand really where Bitcoin is right now, you got to go back to 2018, 2019. Bitcoin had been up to 20,000 in the bull market. It drew all the way down to $3,000. What happened there, and Stanley Druckenmiller said it was the thing that convinced him to go buy Bitcoin, is that none of the Bitcoiners really sold. About 80% of the people who owned it at 20,000 still owned it
still
at 3,000.
56% long term right now. So there's no supply for it either.
It's highly illiquid. 76% hasn't been sold in the last year. 56% hasn't been sold in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And really what we saw, what drove Bitcoin's price from that $3,000 bottom to $69,000, I mean, 23x in about 3 years, is that there was a supply and a demand shock. And we had printing of money, low interest rates, and we also got the halving. We look like we're headed right back to that. Right now we do.
They're setting this thing up, folks. Make no mistake. This Bitcoin thing, regardless of what you think of Bitcoin, I mean, there's not a question in my mind the government itself created this. I'm not sure if it's the U.S. or the China or whoever, but they created it for the purpose of herding everybody into this digital system, and they've timed all of this. They got their buddy Gary to beat the market down until they were all ready to herd everybody in and open an ETF or whatever. My only question is whether once they have people herded in, whether they decide they destroy it or let it live. I want them to let it live because I think it'll make a lot of people a lot of money. I want them to, but I don't fully trust it, which is why I've never gone all in on Bitcoin. I have like maybe one Bitcoin, okay? But it's only because it's only for not because it has any utility, because it doesn't. It's only because of the fact that I think maybe they're going to herd these people in, and they're going to open up these ETFs, and it'll go nuts. And I'll probably then hopefully they'll time it so that it gets all that, and then XRP's time doesn't come quite yet, and then I can dump all of that money made into XRP before it takes off. Because Bitcoin, make no mistake, this is a government, at a minimum, it's a government co-opted operation at this point to herd everybody into the system. Now, but what they're saying here makes a lot, but you have to remember, Bitcoin, the money flows into Bitcoin. Now, we haven't had a utility run. When that happens, all bets are off. And I believe that's coming sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, Bitcoin's going to, if they do open up these ETFs, it is going to go nuts, and the money is going to flow down into the real altcoins that we shouldn't even call XRP an altcoin, because XRP is the only digital asset with legal clarity. Bitcoin's an altcoin to XRP because it doesn't have legal clarity. So anyway, but what they're saying here is dead on, so pay attention.
A Bitcoin ETF is a huge unlock for investors who haven't been able to allocate to Bitcoin or to crypto as an asset class for its past 15 years in existence. So that's why we think at Bitwise, a Bitcoin ETF is the biggest thing to happen to Bitcoin since it was created in 2009. 80% of wealth in America hasn't historically had access to Bitcoin. So we do think that the upcoming spot Bitcoin ETF is going to be a huge influx of demand. And like you said, it's a commodity. Its price is set by supply and demand. And we see a clear sign that demand will be climbing in the near to long term.
What will these Bitcoin, I gather BlackRock has an application out there. Wisdom Tree may have an application. There are probably others. What will these ETFs actually own? Physical Bitcoin? Or
yes.
I mean, it's not physical, it's digital, but...
Yeah, so these spot Bitcoin ETFs will own the underlying Bitcoin itself. People will allocate into these ETFs. The ETF will go out and purchase Bitcoin on the market. And that's exactly why we think it's so bullish for the price of Bitcoin, is because you're going to have this constant influx of demand on Bitcoin as an asset. So it'll hold the underlying asset. That's why people are so excited about a spot Bitcoin ETF, because it's the first time that you've been able to own the underlying asset in this ETF wrapper. So for every dollar goes into an ETF for spot Bitcoin, a dollar of Bitcoin will be bought off the open market.
Okay. And then you got this, the halving thing. This is why I think that this has been a setup, is because we're moving towards the halving. I think that these Wall Street guys said, okay, we got to time it so that we do all this right leading up to the halving. Think about what the backdrop is. They've spent 2 years with their government buddies like Gary beating this market into oblivion. This is where they make their bank, folks. And everybody, see, I was telling somebody at dinner last night, you know what happens every single time that the market takes off? That's when all of my friends start texting me and asking me, that's all they talk about. Oh, should we be buying some Bitcoin or what? And I say, no, you should have been buying for the last 2 years while the government was telling you that this is all bad and evil and all this stuff, because that's when their friends were buying, and that's why they were doing what they were doing, partially. Here's the halving.
This, yes.
Andrew.
But I also understand where...
Prepare.
I know.
Prepare for the halving. The halving is coming.
I feel like I'm on the leftovers.
What is the... And I love Bitcoin. I'm kidding around about it. I think it's great.
For this, yes.
Andrew.
But I...
Okay. If people could ever psychologically learn to buy when the fear is at the max, that's what I do. That's what I've been doing. It works. Look, this is rich. New X told British MPs that the company will not demonetize Russell Brand's account on the platform, unlike what YouTube and other platforms have done. This came in response to a letter from Culture Committee Chair Caroline Denenage, MP. Well, guess what, Elon? You've turned me off. You've you've suspended my Twitter without telling me why, for no reason under the sun. I have my ideas. Now, we're off into the private group now. In that private group, folks, we're going to talk, we'll talk a little bit about my suspension theory. We're going to talk about this is a little secret that I've been keeping about an ex-Ripple board member, and I showed it to my group this morning. I'm going to go over that a little bit. We're going to talk about Brad Garlinghouse and Brad Garlinghouse / White House. This is one of my top 10 videos I was never able to show you on regular social media. You can go to DAIXRP.com to join the club. It's a members only club, just like having a members only jacket back in the 80s, but better. Thanks for listening. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. It's DAIXRP.com, and everybody in there can vouch for the fact that it is well worth you checking it out, because it is, I'm talking about, in fact, I'm going to talk about something else in my second video today. Something that I never did talk about old Gary. This is something a story I've never told. It's something that happened to me. Thanks for listening.